let's talk a little bit about how I've used that song in my self-care and some things that I did musically to bring myself out of an undesired state. So I utilized something that we call in music therapy called the ISO principle, where I met myself in the music where I was at. My state was depressed and very sad, and I brought myself out of that state to a happier state using the music. So we're going to talk about how I did that. So notice how the song starts in what's called a minor key. So it's in D minor, then it moves to G minor, the chord G minor, and then it ends on that dominant chord, the A7. So notice how it starts in a minor key. And during that song where, I'm talking about my feelings of depression and feeling really, really alone, we have that minor key. And notice how that's the longest part of the song. And that just repeats over and over and over again. It's very long, it's very languishing. And I did that intentionally because the song, I wrote this when I was very, very depressed and I felt very sad and very alone. And as I was meditating, this melody just came to me, that melody right there. So I went with it. But notice how the music is being utilized to match my state of being, my current emotion level, which was sad and depressed. So typically, minor keys are typically associated with feelings of sadness or even spookiness. So I'm from the US, so in Western cultures and particularly, minor keys are typically associated with sadness, although our perceptions of music do change based on our cultural background, our religious and societal background. But I'm a Catholic cantor, I was born and raised Catholic, and typically minor keys are used a lot during Lent when we talk about, Jesus being gone for 40 days. A lot of those songs are in minor. But then notice throughout the song, it moves to a major chord. So you have that, who's there for me? And then it goes to a major 6 chord to the major 3 to the 5. And then all of a sudden, it feels happier, doesn't it? It feels lighter. So let's explore that. The first part of the song, just notice how you feel. And now notice how you're feeling when I do this. To that major 6 chord, to the major 3rd, to the 5, back to the D minor, which is the tonic. I moved to that 6 chord really intentionally because major chords, major keys, like I said, I'm from the US, are typically associated with feelings of happiness. So I wanted it to feel lighter during the song, since keep in mind I was validating the state I was in. I was validating my emotions, but I didn't want to stay in that minor key the entire time. I didn't want to keep going to the minor 4 and then the 5. I wanted to lift myself out. And notice as I'm lifting myself out, what do you notice about the piano? I'm ascending to lift myself out. So I'm moving from a D minor chord and I'm playing a little ascending scale using some notes in the D minor chord to move to that B flat, to move to the major 6. So I did that really, really, really intentionally, and I utilized the music to match that, where, we're talking about connecting, I'm talking about connecting with Saint Michael, connecting with his energy and his light, so that lifts me out of that state. And then about the ending. So we move major key. And if you've ever been to a Catholic Mass, this is a very common key. It's a very common chord progression. It's moving from a major 1 chord to a minor 6, major 4, to the 5 chord, and then it ends in a major key. And the reason I wanted to transition from a minor chord progression to that major was because I personally associate major keys with happiness. And when I wrote this song, I wrote this specifically to help me get out of a feeling state where I'm feeling really depressed and alone and it feels like I don't have anyone. And so I wrote this to transition into the major key very intentionally. And when you end, you feel lighter. Whenever I listen to this, I always feel lighter at the end of it, because when a song's moving from a minor key to a major key, it just gives it a whole new feel. And then the song ends and you feel happy and you feel light. So I used the music to really, really, really shape how I was feeling to how I wanted it to feel. And while this is not music therapy, this is how I utilize music within my own self-care, where I'm coming to the piano, I'm talking about my state of being, I'm talking about how I'm feeling, and then I'm lifting myself out of that state using the music. Music has such a big effect on our emotions and our emotional state. And sometimes when we listen to songs, we can almost feel ourselves being lifted into a state or pulled down to a state. If you're happy and then all of a sudden you're listening to music that's depressing, now you feel depressed. So a lot of the times I find if people are sad or they're stressed, they'll go right to listening to happy music. But instead, what I like to do is utilize my music therapy knowledge, utilize the ISO principle, where I start listening to sad songs to validate that emotion, then I gradually lift myself out of that state. That's a little bit about how I've used that song in my self-care, and it's St. Michael's feast day today, and so I'm uploading this for my angel, my favorite angel in the entire world, and a little story about St. Michael. So I felt really, really unsafe a few months ago. I was in a really scary, unsafe situation, and I just started praying the St. Michael prayer. So it goes, St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle, be our defense against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, and by the powers of God, thrust into hell Satan and all of the evil spirits who prowl around the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen. I just kept saying that, and I kept saying that, and I kept saying that over and over, and I kept praying to St. Michael when I was in this really scary situation, and I was saved, and he interceded on my behalf. And I will just be forever grateful for him, because I truly love him so much, and he always protects me. And when I wrote this song, I was very, very, very sad, and I was very depressed, and I literally felt like I had no one to talk to. And I was praying that prayer, and I've got to cut that part out. I was praying that prayer. I wrote this last November, and I just remember this song came to me in like 2 minutes, and I've had this song written since last November. I got it recorded in January, and I'm just forever grateful to St. Michael, and I literally love him. And so this song is dedicated to St. Michael the Archangel, who I love so, so, so much. So if you made it all the way through to the end, thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. Hope you have a wonderful, musical, magical day, royalty. Bye for now.